Alam nyo, nung time ko po, nung kabataan ko, people who really didn't want to talk about issues of sexual harassment. My heart really goes out to all of you who are fighting for justice and accountability pagdating sa mga bagay na ito and in general for all issues of injustice that we are suffering. Magandang araw mga kakampi. Attorney Chel, Diokno po. May tanong sa ating free Legal Helpdesk. In the year 2019, at a public high school, I signed a complaint against a male teacher who sexually harassed a grade 7 student, as I was obliged to do since I was an SSG president. The plaintiff presented a series of screenshots wherein the perpetrator was demanding the girl to send nude photos in order to pass his subject. A spin of events occurred. The sister of the grade 7 student apparently was also his victim. This April, I created a page where I was able to expose his despicable and unprofessional deeds. The post reached thousands and thousands of netizens. It paved the way for other women to speak up about their traumatic experiences with the perpetrator. Some of them were asked to go to his house to, quote, check his paperworks. Some of them were asked to massage his hands, which are clearly unethical. They also said that the teacher touched them in a sexual way. A certain girl told me that she raised the matter to the admin but was immediately dismissed. Wala raw siyang ebidensya at ganun lang daw talaga yung teacher na yon, kaya iwasan na lang daw. It deeply angers me. Does accountability for sexual harassment expire? Salamat po sa tanong na yan. Mga kakampi, bago tayo magtuloy, kailangan ko magpasalamat sa lahat ng subscribers ng YouTube at followers natin sa Facebook. If you haven't yet liked or subscribed, please do so for more legal guidance. Alam nyo, nung time ko po, nung kabataan ko, people who really didn't want to talk about issues of sexual harassment. Mabuti ngayon, may mga batas na tayo na ipinagbabawal ang sexual harassment and more people, especially the youth, are calling out these kinds of wrong behavior. My heart really goes out to all of you who are fighting for justice and accountability pagdating sa mga bagay na ito and in general for all issues of injustice that we are suffering. Ang tanong po ninyo ay, does accountability for sexual harassment expire? Sa batas, meron tayong tinatawag na prescriptive period. Ang bawat criminal offense at kahit yung mga civil suit natin na isasampa, ay merong fixed period ang batas kung kailan dapat i-file ang mga kasong yan. Kung hindi na isampa ang kaso sa loob ng period na yon, ang tawag namin doon ay prescribed na. Ibig sabihin ay hindi na pwedeng ituloy ang kaso. Pagdating sa usapin ng criminal offenses dahil sa sexual harassment, dalawa ang batas na umiiral dyan. Nandyan yung Anti-Sexual Harassment Act at nandyan din ang Safe Spaces Act. Sa ilalim ng Anti-Sexual Harassment Act, Republic Act No. 7877, 3 taon po ang prescriptive period sa mga opensang napapaloob doon sa batas na yan. Sa ilalim naman ng Safe Spaces Act, 5 taon ang prescriptive period for offenses that are covered by that law. Kung civil suit for damages naman ang ifa-file natin, may konting debate yan kung gaano bang katagal ang prescriptive period. Pero sa tingin ko, safe na nasabihin natin na 4 years ang prescriptive period for actions based on an injury to the rights of the plaintiff or for quasi-delicts. This is also a good opportunity for me to explain a bit about these two laws, yung Anti-Sexual Harassment Act at yung Safe Spaces Act. According to the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act, at ito ay babasahin ko, sexual harassment is committed by a teacher, instructor, professor, coach, trainer, or any other person who, having authority, influence, or moral ascendancy over another in an education environment, demands, requests, or otherwise requires any sexual favor from the other, regardless of whether the demand, request, or requirement for submission is accepted by the object of said act. In an education or training environment in particular, sexual harassment is committed Number 1, against one who is under the care, custody, or supervision of the offender. Number 2, against one whose education, training, apprenticeship, or tutorship is entrusted to the offender. Number 3, when the sexual favor is made a condition to the giving of a passing grade, or the granting of honors and scholarships, or the payment of a stipend, allowance, or other benefits, privileges, or considerations. Or, number 4, when sexual advances result in an intimidating, hostile, or offensive environment for the student, trainee, or apprentice. Hindi lang po yung nagsagawa ng sexual harassment ang maaring maging liable sa ilalim nitong Anti-Sexual Harassment Act. Even the head of the educational or training institution may be held liable for damages if the head of that institution was informed of such acts by the offended party and yet took no action immediately to address the situation. Kung sino man ang makonvict o mahatulan sa ilalim nitong Anti-Sexual Harassment Act ay may karampatang penalty yan. Imprisonment of not less than 1 month, fine of not less than 10,000 pesos, or both at the discretion of the court. Sa ilalim naman ng Safe Spaces Act, bawat eskwelahan, bawat educational institution or training institution is required to adopt and publish grievance procedures to facilitate the filing of complaints by students and members of the faculty. Kahit na ayaw magtuloy ng reklamo ang naging victim, basta't nalaman ng school authorities na meron ngang report ng sexual harassment, ay tungkulin nila na imbestigahan ito. So if the school authorities have knowledge or reasonably know about a possible or impending act of gender-based sexual harassment or sexual violence, the school should investigate to determine the veracity of that information or knowledge, and if so, to take appropriate steps to address the situation. Failure to act on reported acts of gender-based sexual harassment committed in the educational institution upon conviction shall be penalized with a fine of not less than 10,000 pesos. Sa mga nanonood sa atin, kung kayo o may kilala kayong naging biktima ng sexual harassment or sexual violence, dapat kumonsulta kayo sa abogado para makakuha kayo ng mas detalyadong impormasyon at guidance kung ano yung nararapat gawin. Mga kakampi, kung may gusto pa kayong malaman tungkol sa batas, bukas ang ating free Legal Helpdesk. Pumunta lang kayo sa facebook.com/Chel Diokno at i-click ang send message. May kakampi kayo sa batas. Hello mga kakampi! Attorney Chel Diokno po. Like and subscribe for more legal guidance.